Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by the garden today. I'm Zach. I garden here in Mobile, Alabama, zone 9A. And today I will be taking you to plant some hollyhock seeds, give you an update on some hollyhock seedlings, and then planting out some hollyhock starts. All right, guys, well, let's get into it. I'm super excited about today. It feels great. It feels like spring. It does look like we have one more day of frost coming up here in the next few days around Tuesday, but what we're planting out has already been hardened off, so it should be nice and safe there in the frost. Okay, let's get to it. A beautiful moment to take in is here in the moon garden. The summer snowflakes are blooming, which is quite early for them, being the middle of February. However, they look beautiful, especially right next to the southern peach heuchera. Southern peach heuchera is a cross between your standard ornamental heuchera and the natively found Veldemosa heuchera, making it a little bit more hardy for our area here. I have it planted in pretty dappled shade. It has not made it through a summer yet, but it's made it through a fall and a spring, fall and a winter, heading into its spring. So hopefully it'll do pretty well for us. But the summer snowflakes, this is their third year in the ground, coming back each year just as strong and full. Can't say that the same for the daffodils. The daffodils come back, but not as strong. These are planted via bulb in the fall, and they come up with their foliage here. And then they're beautiful white blooms that just give you, they remind me of little fairy hats. If a fairy was going to be wearing a hat for a sporting event, this would be the flower. Now, what is important to remember is the foliage here. You want it to completely dry up and go away before you clean it up, because that is how it stores its energy for the next year. Yeah, so I have a nice little drift of them all right through here. And then that variegation's picked up by the variegated iris. All right, well, I'm here in the seed room now, and let's talk a little bit about how to start hollyhock seeds. So hollyhock seeds are actually pretty easy to start and to germinate, and pretty easy to grow. Your biggest challenge is going to be waiting for them to bloom, because they normally take about 2 years. If you start them early enough and they kind of go through a bit of a cold period and then a warming up period, they might be able to bloom for you around early summer. But that's not the typical case. It kind of depends on the cultivars you get. Today we'll be starting the Russian yellow hollyhock, which is a beautiful golden yellow, not very golden, I don't know why I said that, very canary yellow, very bright yellow. Beautiful, beautiful. It is known to be more disease and fungal resistant, which is something I deal with here in the Gulf Coast. It's very humid, it's very wet, it's very hot. And so finding plants that are more tolerant, absolutely something I want to reach for in my garden. So we're starting those. I have our seed packet here, and these came from Swallowtail Seeds right there. Yes. Let's read a little bit about the Russian yellow hollyhock. So it is in the family Alacea rugosa. Beautiful, we'll love that. A healthy, rust-resistant, 6 to 7 foot tall plant, love that, that produces large, pale yellow single blooms all summer long, a biennial or perennial. Packet is of 25 seeds. Sow in 2-inch pots or cell packs, press into the soil and lightly cover. Keep at 70-75 degrees of germination is in 14 to 28 days. Can direct sow in groups of 3 to 4, spaced 2 to 3 feet apart, thin to the strongest plant. I have tried to direct seed several times, no luck. So we will be starting these in cells today, and this is what I have for us to start in. These are like a 3 or a 2-inch by 1-inch. So not quite a 2 by 2, but definitely big enough for a hollyhock. I have already filled it up with pre-moistened soil. And we will get these little guys put in. So let me turn you around and show you what I'm doing. So I'm just re-wetting this soil because yesterday I potted it up and it has been in here in our warm seed starting closet. Spray, spray, spray. I made the mistake when I was first starting of keeping it too wet. And then I overcorrected and kept it too dry. So now I like to wet well, let it slightly dry out, and then wet well again, giving it that chance to really dry out. Okay, now let's grab our seeds. Here they are. Doing this one-handed is difficult. Beautiful. Get you closer on the seeds. So I would definitely lay the seed flat on the soil. I wouldn't try to stick it up or down. I would just lay it flat. Just flat. That way it can spring up the way it wants to. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll have 2 leftovers. And maybe we can throw some spinach in there with it. Okay, so let's get these things planted. So first things first, they do want just a little bit of light to germinate, not a crazy amount. So I'm gonna make just a small little divot to put our seed in. So it's actually only a short one. Let's put one little spinach in right over here. Why not? We'll just eat it up later. Okay, so now I'm going to slightly pat the soil back in around the seeds. More so nesting it in. I still want to be able to slightly see the seed. There we go. They're all pretty much tucked in, but you can still just slightly see the top of them. Now I'll come in with a little bit of vermiculite. I like the vermiculite. I feel like it helps with the fungus. It also helps keep them moist. So I'm going to put just a good little amount right over the top and then kind of tap it. Need a little bit more here. A little bit more right there. Awesome. Watering them in again. Beautiful. And now we label these. Ta-da! And then a humidity dome. Boom. Perfect. And I will find a place to put these on our growing shelf. But just a quick update here. Verbena bonariensis vanity, so a little bit shorter than the traditional species. She's coming up well. Here, my so-called favorite child, the Nicotiana salversis. This is going to be the white woodland night scented tobacco. And they're looking so cute. These here are our Marvel of Peru 4 o'clocks. A jade coleus that we started from seed. Let's see here. Foxgloves, penstemon, and there's just a few delphiniums. Moonflower, wishbone flower, gomphrena, purple honey eye. These are brand new. Oh, got something coming up. I believe that's going to be the Love Lies Bleeding celosia. Nothing in that one just yet. Down here, there's more 4 o'clocks. Here are some tomatoes. And right there are some Russian yellow hollyhocks that we started earlier. And now they're coming up. And we started them on 2/10. So 8 days ago. That's where we are now. Good, good. So right here are our seedlings. These are Snapdragon seedlings that we've already pinched. These are our zebra hollyhocks that we will be planting out today. And then these are Chinese asters that I'm hardening off to get planted out after the last frost. Frost tolerant, frost sensitive. Gotta know about how they handle their frosts. Okay, so we have planted out planted the seeds of the Russian hollyhock. And now we're gonna plant out the Mystic Merlin zebra hollyhock. So these are a little bit different, a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more fragile. They do have a more varied color palette, so they're going to be more of your purples and your mauves and maybe even your pinks or blues. They're going to be kind of a striped flower. It's going to be a little bit shorter, around 4 feet and about 2 feet wide. Really good for a cut flower. We're going to get these planted out front, and to plant these small 4-inch pots, we're going to use our Hori Hori and some biotone fertilizer. The biotone fertilizer is very good for root development. It contains mycorrhizae fungi, which helps vascularize the plant. So it basically is a cheat code for giving it a more established root system faster, helping it reach water and nutrients. And then of course, fertilizing anything is going to help it grow as long as you're not overdoing it. And instead of planting out all of them, I believe I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11. I'm going to plant out 6. I'm going to do 3 on each side of our magnolia trees and just kind of experiment to see how they do there. And then I'll probably place the other 5 in a drift up front in the bed. Yes, that'll be so nice. It'll connect all 3 in a beautiful triangle. Love it. Okay, guys, let me turn you around and we'll get out into the front yard. Here we are in the front yard, and my daffodils are coming up beautifully. They're a little lined up more so than I had planned. But we have some right here. And then I know that these are going to be the Tatati daffodil, which are the short miniature daffodils that are supposed to be the best at naturalizing. So I've planted this area for about 17 feet with daffodils, and my plan is to fill it in with grasses mostly, but I think I'm going to tuck the hollyhocks in right about there because there's a big grass here and I want to come in with more grass here. There's a grass right there. We also have the mirrored side over here. You can see there's a few daffodils coming up. More than a few, I believe I planted 400. I did just plant some American Dream Coreopteris plugs right here. We'll see how those go. Yeah, I'm thinking like right there would be a good spot. And then we're gonna put the other 5 up here. All right, so here I am in front of the magnolia tree. I was thinking about planting them over here, but then I saw that I have a hardy hibiscus that's gonna grow up and be really big right there. And then there's a shrub blueberry here. So I've decided to plant them here among these daffodils because once they're in their full stride, the daffodils will be asleep. Love using the Hori Hori. I came in and cut out a 4x4 square and then pulled it right out, making the planting very easy. So these don't need too much, but there's our fertilizer. And now we're gonna pop our plant in. All right, we got them tucked in. 1, 2, 3. Right here at the magnolia tree. Now to roughly mirror that, so this is our road, this is our drive. We are blessed with a second drive that goes up here, and I have this bed mirrored. So we're gonna go roughly mirror these 3 on the other side. So here we are on the other side. The mirror is inverted. The other side it was doing this, and now it's doing this. But if I pull this one forward, there's all these daffodils here. And if I pull that one backward, it's a little close there. So I think we're just gonna go with it. Be more of a suggestion. More sisters than twins, and that's perfectly fine. Let me show you why I love this Hori Hori. Just gonna go cut around the pot. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. Look at these magnolia leaves. They're huge. Ooh, she wasn't rooted in as well. That's Colby. Hello, Colby. Colby said, "What you doing in my front yard?" He said, "You go play in the backyard where you're supposed to be." Well, that is my 3rd year trying to grow hollyhocks. Year 1 was from seeds direct sowed. Year 2 was from mail order roots. Neither one of those were successful. This is year 3, growing them as indoor starts, and so far definitely they look the best going into the ground. Now I'd love to leave you with a little snippet of Mobile's Pride Azalea and Carolina Winter Jasmine. It is a beautiful mix with bees on it, but of course I think I've scared them off. But let me show you a little bit of that. Well, I do want to share one thing that isn't technically mine, but the neighbors have a humongous Japanese magnolia that's in full bloom. I'd get over there and get closer and show you, but I feel kind of uncomfortable doing that. But wow, it's pretty. I have a tiny one right here called Jenny, and yeah, maybe one day it'll get big like that. But the front bed's looking nice. If you haven't seen us plant these, go watch the last video. It's all about the front pots. I've added some bunnies there to make it Easter with little bunny reef. Airplane. But yes, here are our front pots. Make sure you go check out our video when we planted these up. This is new. This is Oxalis Iron Cross. And it has a beautiful pink flower. Super excited for that. Loving these calla lilies. I will have to cover these for that little frosty night we're gonna have coming up. This is new. This is Bolivian Sunset Gloxinia. And then just a few cuttings I threw down there to help fill it out for the spring. Yes, y'all. Well, as always, thank you so much for stopping by and gardening with me. Make sure to like and subscribe so that I can continue bringing you beautiful videos like this, so I can continue using money and unnecessarily on gardening, because it's my pure, true hobby, just like yours is if you're watching this video. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and continue to join me as I garden here on the Gulf Coast. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.